this is what handles our deaths and our coming back to life and everything like that. So we want to make it pause between this point where we instantiate the death particle. We want to have like a bit of a delay, and then we want to have it moves the player and it moves it makes the respawn particle. Sorry. So we're going to have a little bit of time between those. So we want to determine what that time is. So we'll say public float. Say we'll call it respawn delay. And to handle like to make the system wait between respawns, there's different ways you could do it. You could have like a countdown timer, so you could have this float value, and we could have another one that takes that value, and then every frame it goes minus blah blah blah, and then when it hits 0, then it'll respawn or start to respawn. But that's very complicated and very kind of convoluted way to do things. What we actually want to do is just create something called a coroutine, which a coroutine happens outside the normal sequence of events. So normally within a script, it'll just go straight down from start, then update, and then it'll just keep looping through whatever. So if you call something else, so say for example on our player thing, it goes down to update, goes down to here, and if you press the key button, it goes to jump. So then it goes down to jump here, and then once it's finished reading this, it goes back to the same point it was, and then continues onwards down through the code. But coroutines work a little bit differently. So say for example, with this little section here, it would get to the jump thing, and it would go down to jump to start processing that, but at the same time, it would also continue onwards down through the script. So this little bit of thing will be executed, and then rather than jumping back to the position it was, it would just finish executing this, and then it'll just stop. Which is what we want to do with our respawn player thing, because that operates outside on its own time loop then, and then we can put little pauses in between everything. So what we're going to do is create a coroutine here, and rather than the normal way of doing public void respawn player, for example, what we're going to do is something called public enumerator, and we're going to call this respawn player co. And it's just handy to add the co so that you remember this is a coroutine that you've made. It's just kind of helpful little information. It doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you don't call it the same name as respawn player. So inside here we're going to add all this code. So we're going to highlight it, hit Control and X, and paste it in there. And then when the respawn player is called, that's going to start the coroutine. So the way that works is we go start coroutine. Oh, if I could spell that would be okay. Coroutine, there we go. Open the bracket, and then we hit our quotation marks to start a string, and we want to copy this little thing so that you can type it in either, but just so you always get the exact right text, it's easier to just copy and paste it. So paste it in there and close our brackets, hit our commas. So now this will start the coroutine whenever the player dies. And so this is the point where we want to have a little bit of a delay added to the system. So we'll go at this point here, and we'll say yield return new wait for seconds. So this is the little system that will determine how long you should pause between getting killed and getting respawned. So in this section we're going to add in our respawn delay here. Close that bracket, hit the commas, and we'll hit save, and we'll just see how this looks now back in the game. And we don't have to add anything to the script here or anything, so we just have to wait for it to compile, and then we'll hit play. And now once it starts running, we'll go into these things. Oh, well, I'm completely wrong. We do have to do something over here. We have to decide what the respawn delay value actually is. So we'll set it to, say, 1 second. Hit play again. We move, and then respawn. But look, this is the problem we've got going on here. Once you got killed, now that we've got like it waits for a second, you can still move and walk around, and that's not what you want to happen. We want the player to stop, or ideally we want the player to disappear. So again, it's a nice and simple way to do that, because we've already got our player object being found for the level manager, So it's very easy then. We have our instantiate the player det, and then immediately after it instantiates, we'll go player dot player dot enabled, sorry. Player dot enabled is equal to false. So that'll disable the player, so you won't be able to control and move him anymore, but you'll still be able to see the player. So to fix that, we'll go player dot renderer dot enabled is equal to false. So then that'll make the player invisible and you won't see him on the screen anymore, and that's exactly what we want to happen. But obviously we need to turn both of those things back on, so we're going to copy them, and then after the wait for seconds and after the player's position has been reset, we're going to pop in here the same things, and we'll change the falses on both of them to true, hit save, and we'll pop back into the game now. Hit play once it's finished compiling, and here we go. So we kill the player, oh, he's gone, and now he magically reappears again. And you got a little bit of a delay in between, so you know it's handy to know, it's handy in a game like any kind of platformer game and any kind of game in general, it's handy to know what killed you. And if you're instantly teleported back to respawning, then you don't have time to take in how exactly you died. For example, if an enemy shoots you and you didn't see the bullet coming, then you're just like, oh no, how did I die? But now we can die and we're like, oh, those spikes got me. You have enough time to take in what happened, so then when you get back to the same point, you can jump over a spike and you can continue onwards with your game. Kill yourself again. Now, there's one problem with our little system that we've set up here. If I keep dying, and say if you've got a long level and players are going to die lots and lots of times throughout the level, then every time you die, you're creating a new objects here in the system. And that's just going to clog up the memory of the computer and make everything, eventually it's going to start making everything run really slow. So what we want to do is, when an animation is finished playing, we've no more use for it. So we just need to get that out of there altogether. So we're going to create a new script. We go to our scripts here, and we will right click on the folder area, go to create C# script, and we'll call this destroy finished particle. Hit enter, and we'll double click on that to open it. And we're going to attach this script to our particle objects. So basically the purpose of this script will be to go, okay, it checks, is the particle animation still playing? If it's still playing, don't need to worry about anything. But if the particle system has stopped playing, then we go, okay, destroy this object. And it's going to be a very simple script, but it's very useful, and it's something that's it's handy to keep around for your particle effects. So what we're going to do is we're going to go private particle system. Yes, particle system, which is this particle system, we'll call it. And so what that does is create an empty particle system within this script, basically. And then again, as we've done with the animator on the player controller in the previous episode, what we want to do is go, this particle system is equal to get component particle system, which will search for a particle system on the object that is already attached to. We'll hit the semicolons there. Oh, this needs to be a capital P. I don't know why it didn't make it a capital P, but yes. So what that'll do is it'll find the particle system on the object, and then it'll make it be assigned to this particle system in the script. So then in our update loop, what we're going to go do is if this particle system dot is playing, so that determines if it's still playing and still going on. Close that. So if this particle system that is playing, then we know we don't want this little bit of code to do anything, so we'll go return. So that's fine. If it's, what that'll do is, like any code after this point within the update loop, it'll just say, okay, we don't need to care about anything because we know the particle system is playing, so it doesn't matter. So that's fine. So if that's, so the only reason we'll get onto the next little bit here is if the particle system is not playing. And so that means it's finished playing, so we don't need to worry about it anymore. So all we're going to do is destroy bracket game object. So what that'll do is completely remove that object from the system, and it'll free up some more memory for us in the game. So we hit save, and again convert if you need to. Sometimes that comes up, it depends on how your computer is configured basically, but it doesn't really matter too much. So once that's saved, we're going to pop back into the game. We're going to hit play once it's finished compiling. Oh no, we're not. See, this is a mistake I always make. What you want to do is, once you've created your script, you have to make sure and go to your objects and add that script to it. So we'll go add component here. So you'll either appear here, or you might have some other text in entered. So we'll just type in destroy, and we'll have our destroy finished particle script there. So there we go, that's added to that one. And go to the other one, do the exact same thing. And now, if we hit play, the objects should destroy themselves as they're being finished. So we'll just walk into this first object. As you can see, they're there, and then gone. There, new ones there, gone. So now you can keep down as many times as you want, and it won't keep blocking up the system with lots of data that you don't need anymore and you're not using anymore. So there you go. That's the basics of how you add a little particle system to jazz things up within your game. Make things a little bit more interesting, make things a little bit more fun. So thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with more tutorials, and keep making awesome games.